Welcome to Joe's Astrology, and this is the birth chart for Sara Foster. That's her there in the upper left hand corner, and she's a Pisces Rising, Sun in Aquarius, and Moon in Aquarius. And I came across this person. I was watching a movie. That was made about 20 years ago, and I thought, Sara Foster, she looks like someone that I know. And that someone that I know is an Aquarius and literally looks just like her. And here I looked her up, and she's an Aquarius as well. So I thought that was interesting. I could say more on that. I'm going to let it go for now. But I don't know that much about Sara Foster. Obviously, she's an actress, and she was born to a famous person. She's listed as a socialite. And when I think of this socialite thing, I think of Aquarius and I think of Pisces. And here she has Venus in Aquarius, the Sun in Aquarius, the Moon in Aquarius, and Mars in Aquarius. Now I have Mars, Moon, and Venus in Aquarius too. Actually, I have Mars at 29 degrees. I have the Moon at 20 degrees, and my Venus is at 13. So without the sun there, it's in the same pattern there. And I think of this socialite thing because if I observe myself, even though I'm not a socialite, I wasn't really born. Well, wouldn't say I wasn't born into a lot of money or anything like that. But I act like it. I grew up. Let's just say that I went to Catholic school, and I grew up acting like I was better than everybody else. And I have this same Mars, Moon, and Venus. Not that she acts like that, but I did. So I find that interesting. So what else? Well, she has this Pisces rising, this actress. She has the ruler Neptune right there in the 10th house on the midheaven in Sagittarius. So I've been saying this, if you watch my channel, how often we see with these famous people, they have a strong Neptune, and this would be a strong Neptune. In fact, when we look at electional charts, when we elect a time, when astrologers often elect times for people to have good events, they do things like this. Have the ruler of the rising right there in the 10th, moving towards the midheaven there. And this person is born that way. So very favorable for her. And I think we could correlate that to a little bit to being born into a very famous or rich family. That I've never read that. I'm just looking in that and thinking that would be something that would correlate with that. And then, of course, it's in Sagittarius, which is a more fortunate sign. And the ruler is Jupiter. And Jupiter is in Libra in the 7th with Saturn retrograde. So Jupiter and Saturn together in the 7th house, an angular house. So they're in a strong house. These planets would be very strong for her. And she did have a good, I think I read that even though she was born, I don't know the exact scenario, but even though she was born into a rich family, she didn't feel, the scenario was such that she didn't feel like she was rich or didn't feel like she was that elite, and she had to work very hard. You often see this Jupiter-Saturn together with people who are have favorable work lives, which could correlate with working hard. So she thought of herself as a hard worker. And also the family, I don't know the exact scenario, but there was a lot of divorce and different brothers and sisters and I think there were stepsisters involved or step siblings involved, and you see that with the Aquarius stuff as well. And the person that I know that looks like her also has a stepsister. So that is something that correlates with Aquarius too, that often people look at as being traumatic. These family situations that are traumatic, which can correlate with trauma correlating with Aquarius, when we look at it from a different light, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just different. And different and unique is something that correlates with Aquarius. So it really depends on how you look at Aquarius. A lot of times when it comes to this trauma thing, I think when we're looking at the scenario where if everything turns out right or turns out well financially and people are happy, then it's just different. But if it doesn't turn out well, people aren't happy, then it's trauma. She also has Mercury in Pisces and in the 12th. Mars is in the 12th. All these planets are in the 12th in this chart. So you see that more of that Pisces stuff, 12th house, very much in the public's eye as an actress. And the movie that I watched, I think it was called Bounce Back, something Bounce. And you see this, or I see this anyway, with movies a lot, where their character almost has to go along with their astrology in a lot of cases. So in this movie, she was a thief, kind of like a thief, or somebody who was like doing a lot of acting in the movie and being different people. We think of the air stuff, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, and of course all this air here, changing faces, and she was doing a lot of this in the movie. And she also had a sharp tongue, like she really knew what to say all the time, saying kind of nasty things at times, and saying things that many people would regret, etc. And we see that with the Mars Mercury here in the conjunction here in the chart. And very much a Mars person, like from a thinking perspective. Like she had the good looks, the Libra, the Venus. You see she has a Jupiter-Venus trine, a very good fortune, a very favorable aspect there, where she could kind of get away with and that was like part of the movie. She was putting on a front and being this nice girl, attractive girl, and using her looks to get what she wanted. And you see that here with the Mars at 29 degrees emphasized, and the moon there, Mars moon. In fact, there's a lot of aspects with the Mars. She has the same Mars Pluto trine that I have. I'm not sure. Oh, she was born, I think she was born like 4 or 5 years. She's like 4 or 5 years older than me, but still has the same trine here. I see that a lot too. It's really, a lot of people want to know, just a little side note, a lot of people want to know how to use astrology to your advantage. I haven't 100% figured it out yet, because it seems like a lot of times people that you come into life with, at least what's been happening to me lately, is that they have to have a lot of these similar stuff in the chart, or these connections in the chart. So anyway, I was just seeing that with this person coming up, or maybe it's coincidence, I don't know. But definitely a lot of similarities here in her chart with mine. She has this North Node in Leo. She, again, the acting thing, it's in the 6th. Again, I have the same nodes in the 6th and the 12th. This is really good. I think this is a really good placement for people who are involved in acting, this 6th and the 12th, because they have that. You think of Virgo, Pisces, you have to have that ability to pay attention to detail, Virgo, and you also have to have the ability to take yourself lightly, to have fun. I'm thinking Pisces, become different people. So there's it's like you really wouldn't think of a pure Virgo as being an actor or an actress. You really have to have the combination of the two, or a blend of the two. And we see that she has a square to the nodes with Uranus and Pluto. And it's not a really even close square. We could still consider it a square, which really shows that begins to show that she would have a lot of experience coming into life with what she's doing. And this is where you can get into like past lives and things and trying to figure this stuff out. Because let's take a look. But before I do that, thinking of the South Node, finishing up here with the nodes, the South Node was in Aquarius, and all these planets in Aquarius, and it's almost like has this background of being a socialite, but she's meant to become this actor or actress that works at her craft, with this North Node in Leo in the 6th where she's headed. And it's like she's almost like looking at this chart like she was clearly put into this situation in order to do that. So like as far as like actually working on it, not just to be an actress, but to spend time working on it. And you see that as well. So let's look at some of these things that you can see that maybe that's partially true as well, that she's been working on this. So we have the square to the nodes. We have the Jupiter and Saturn that are retrograde. So redoing something. Pluto's retrograde. And Uranus is also at 29 degrees. It's making a square to that Mars. And the square, the aspects could indicate that a little bit. I think we could say that. A lot of the aspects, the 29 degrees here, the Uranus at 29 degrees, the Mars at 29 degrees. It's been said that this is a critical degree. This is like something that's come to a head that really has to happen in this life. It's very important to take care of it, you could say. And that could give some indication that there's a lot of history here. And then look at the Mars-Venus balsamic phase, the last phase between Venus and Mars, the last phase between Mars and Moon, all of the Pisces stuff. This idea of finishing things up. Think of the zodiac as starting here in Aries and then coming around to the last sign, finishing up the cycle. She's got the Jupiter-Saturn in that last phase to Pluto. And the Venus is in the last phase to the Sun. And the Moon is in that last phase to the Mercury. And last little thing I'm going to mention, that there's a part of fortune in Pisces in the first house. That's pretty self-explanatory. Making money off of these dreams, this acting, and the self, using herself, the first house. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.